Welcome to another tutorial video. So in this tutorial video, I'm basically going to create Python number guessing game using Tkinter. So let's say here maybe we want to guess our number. So let's say if you look at the game, it says let's play a game. Think of a number between 1 to 50. Guess the number. So let's guess 40. So we see wrong number, guess higher. We have 10 attempts remaining. So okay, let's guess 45. Okay, so guess higher. So okay, guess higher again. Okay, so let's go to 48. Let's go to 49. Wow. So 50. Okay, so congrats, you guessed the right number. You scored 40 out of 100. So this determines the scores as well. So this is the application you are going to create from scratch using Python Tkinter. So let's quickly get into the project. So right now we are going to start by creating our starter code or our starting file. So on my desktop, I just want to create a new folder. So let's name it okay, let's just say hello world. So inside this folder you can create a new file, test document. So let's name it main.py. You can name it anyhow you want, it's okay. So yes, so depending on what kind of code editor you are using, if you are using Visual Studio Code, if you are using Python, you can still run it. So let's say you are using Python, you can just open your Python straightforward and create your new file, and then you start your code in it. Or if you are using Visual Studio Code, or you can just use the command prompt. So let's say I can just go to my command prompt straight. So let me navigate into the folder we created on the desktop, which is the hello world. Okay, hello world. Okay, sorry, we need to navigate to the desktop first. So desktop. So hello world. So let's say we want to edit this file. So any code editor you want to use. So let's say I'm using Notepad. If you are using Visual Studio Code, Sublime, anything works perfectly fine. So let's say I'm using Notepad. So let's say from Tkinter. Import everything, which is the star, the asterisk. So we want to assign our window. So root, we have our TK, then we have size. Let's give it a size. So root.geometry. So we'll give it a size of let's say 900 by 500. Then finally we can launch it. So root.main loop. So main loop. Main loop. So let's save it. Save. So let's say on our command prompt, since we are already in the folder, we can just type the name of the file. So the name of the file is main.py. So immediately you type the main.py, you can see that it launches the Python page for us. Or you can basically say Python main.py, whichever way it still works. So in this tutorial, I'm going to use PyCharm. So I'm going to create my file inside the PyCharm and start my project. So here I am inside my newly created Python file. So we want to import what we need for this video. So basically we have to import Tkinter. So I think I spelled it wrong. So Tkinter. Okay, so from Tkinter import asterisk. So the asterisk basically means import everything, which is the star I just used. Then we import random, which will help us to do our number guessing game, because we are basically going to be using random numbers to do our number guessing game. So let's assign our window. So we'll name our window root and assign it to a Tkinter window, which is the TK. Then finally we'll give our window a height. So but giving the window a height, there is something that I'm really going to show you here, which is going to be really complicated, but not that complicated as much. So let's say I want to give my window a size like let's say I say root.geometry. I'm sure you know by now geometry is used to give window a size. So let's say I'm giving my window a size of, let's say 900 by 600. Yeah. Then after that, let's launch it. So we'll launch it using the main loop. So root.main loop. Then let's give it some background color so that it will look a little bit clear. So using the background, I'm going to use the config. So root.config. Then we use the background attribute. So we are assigning to our color. So I'm going to use a color code here. So let's type the name of our color code. So it starts with our hash. So let's say I want to give a color code of yellow. I can just type my yellow. So let's launch it. So you can see my window with a background color yellow. But right now I have a specific color which I want to use. So I'm adding it using the color code. So which is the 785, I think 2, yeah, so that's it. So 78526. So let's launch it. So this is my window nicely placed here. So you realize that we created our window nicely, we gave it a size and everything is working. So let's say anytime I just launch my window, I launch the window. So you see that the window is not staying at one place. Initially when we launch it, the window was in the middle. Now I shift to a little bit at the left side. Let's close it, launch it again. You see it came back to the down again. So we don't want our window to be moving around the screen. We just want our window to stay in the center, in the one place anytime we launch it. So instead of using the geometry, so let's comment it using the hash. Instead of using the geometry, I'm going to use something. So let's say we have our height. So we are given a height of 600. Then we have our width as well. So our width was the 900. I think that's it. So we are going to give an x coordinate for our window. So let's open the bracket. Then we'll call our window, which is called root. Our window is called root. So root, then we have our win full screen width. So we'll give it a division of 2. Then outside the closed parenthesis or closed bracket, we'll open another another bracket, then we'll give the width attribute of our window, then we'll give it 2. So let's copy this. We are going to do the same for the y coordinate. So copy, come to the next line, we paste. So all we have to do is to just change this to y. Then another thing is we'll change this to height, because this was for the width, so this will be the height. So then this also be the height. Okay. Then finally we'll call our geometry again. So win.geometry. So we'll open the bracket, then we'll bring the quote, double quote. Then inside the quote we'll bring one curly bracket, close and open. Then we'll bring the X sign. Then we'll bring another curly bracket, open and close. Then we'll bring the plus sign, another curly bracket, open and close, another plus sign. Okay, one more, another curly bracket, open and close. So now we'll come outside the close tag. Then we'll bring dot format. So dot, then format, then inside the format we'll open a bracket, give a width, comma, then we'll give a height. Okay, then we'll give comma, then we'll bring x, comma, then y. So let's launch this and see if this whole thing I'm just typing, it's really making some sense. So okay, now you can see I launched my window. Now it's in the middle. So let's close it again, launch it again. The window is still at the same place. Initially the window was moving around the screen. If it was at the middle, to maybe next time you launch it, it goes to the left side. So either if you don't get this as well, you don't have to bother yourself. You can just go with the root.geometry. You can just go with this and just clean the whole of this. Anyone that works for you, you can just go with this, just that this is going to be shifting the window. So all these I just typed, this root.win full screen width, all this plenty thing I just typed is to just make the screen stay at one place. So I hope you don't get confused. You can choose to go with which one is good for you as well. So the next thing we want to do is, now we have our, okay, we need our title as well. So let's say root dot, then we'll give our title. So let's name our title. Okay, bring our quote. So Python number guessing game. Python number guessing game. Okay, so we have nicely placed them. So when we launch our page, you can see at the top here it says Python number guessing game. You can decide to change this Tkinter ICO there as well. So the next thing we want to do is we want to name our app frame. So when we launch here, realize that in the app we have some green frame in the middle here. So we are going to create the green frame there. So right added down, let's name, or let's define our app frame. So let's assign it to frame. So let's open our parentheses, then we click Okay, so inside our present we click enter. So basically I know there's a whole lot of ways to format to write Python codes. Some people would like to go like, let's say, root, comma, then you have your height. Maybe you have your height something like maybe 430 and so on. Then they close it. Then maybe you come back to your app frame dot place. Then maybe let's say you want to place it at, let's say we have x, so let's place it at x is 135 and y I think 80 should be okay. Yeah, 80. Anyway, but me, I like to go with the different kind of format. So instead of going in straightforward, sometimes you get PyCharm underline your codes that line is too long. Sometimes I want to prevent that, so I like to go with the vertical way. So I just click enter. So my root, comma, I click my enter. So instead of going the horizontal way, I like to go the vertical way. All works. Anyone that is okay for you, you can go with that. So I'm going to have my height. So my height is going to be 430. Then we'll have our width. So my width is going to be 630 as well. Then finally we have our background color, which is the BG. BG stands for background basically. So I'm going to use color code here. So color code is going to be 6 must be. So let's launch it and see what we have. So you can see our app frame we just created here. So we give it the height and the width. So it has affected it nicely placed here. So as you can see, we have our frame nicely placed there. So the next thing we want to create is a text, a header text. So we are going to start by add test1, assigning it to our label. So we open our parentheses. Once again, I like my code to be vertical, so I'll click on enter. If you want the horizontal way, you can still to go anyone that works for you. So you realize that on our app we placed our text is on the app frame here. So we place the app frame on the window, and now we are going to put our text on the app frame instead of the window. So that's the difference here. So the reason why we are assigning app frame here, because we are putting this text on the app frame. So let's assign our text. So let's say let's play a game. So full stop. Think of a number between 150. Okay, think of a number between 1 to 50. Then full stop. So we say guess the number. Guess the number. We'll bring a question mark. So we'll bring okay. So let's launch it and see what. Okay, we have not placed it yet, so basically not won't happen. So let's place it. So first let's give our text a background color, because we don't want the background to blend with the app.
Okay, so let's leave it. Maybe I'll try to demonstrate something there. So let's just place it. So let's say text1 dot place. So in our place we have our x. We want to place it at 80. We want to place our y at let's say 40. So let's launch and see what we have here. So you can see we have our text here. So the background of the text is white. We want the background to blend with the app frame here. So let's come back. So inside our text, we want to give it a background. So since we want it to blend with the app frame, let's copy the same color code we use in the app frame and paste it here. So when we launch it, realize that now the text is having same background with the app frame here. So one thing, we want to give it the font size, we want to increase the font and maybe change the font as well. So let's assign our font. We'll open a bracket. So let's say the font I want to use is Gothic UI. Gothic UI. Then I want to give it a font size of 14. Then basically we want the font to be bold. Okay, bold is present. So let's see where we go. So you can see we have our text in the font size. But if you look at our real app, you realize that the guest number is on the same line. It's on different line as compared to this. So if you look at it, you see that our guest, the number follow the same line. So we want it to come to the next line. So to do that, we just have to come here and use the break attribute inside. So you bring the /n. So this /n will break this text to the next line. So assume we launch it back again. Realize that this gets the number comes to the next line. If I remove it, you can see what happens. So this is the purpose of this. Then you realize that in our app too, we have some font in front of the guess the number. So let's bring it to the next line. So on my computer, I just want to click on the keyboard sign in my taskbar and select maybe some font. So let's select a font like somebody is thinking. Okay, do I have it here? Okay, I have it here. So double. So if you can't configure out the font, you don't have to bother yourself. You just have to leave it like that. It doesn't matter anyway. But if you're able to configure the font, just add maybe some to font of somebody thinking. If you don't add it to, it still doesn't change anything. You still get your app anyway. So you can see we have the two fonts I just added here. That's here. So that's the same thing inside the application. So now we want to create a label under this here. So we want to create an entry. Now that we create our label, so the next we want to come to the next line. We want to define our entry and name it guest entry. So guest entry. So entry. So enter, I come to the next line. So I want to put it on the app frame as well. So app frame, comma, next line. So let's place it. Once again, I will demonstrate something about this as well. So under here, let's say guest entry dot place. So we want to place it at x coordinate of 250. So our y coordinate as well 140. So I want to give it a height, so height of 84 and a width of 120. So let's launch it. So you can see we have our entry here. So we want to give it a highlight background and stuff and things. So I'm going to demonstrate all those. But if you compare our entry here, you can see that whenever you click inside this entry, some colors come around, some hover color comes around the border here. You can see the text inside this is also big enough as compared to this. So you look at this, our text is small, and when we click inside, that hover doesn't come around. So to make that thing hover come around whenever we click inside it, we do that using the, so first let's come here, so enter, so highlight thickness, so no space, just type your highlight then thickness, then you combine them. So highlight thickness, then combine them. So I want to give highlight thickness of 2. So what is the highlight thickness? The highlight thickness is whenever you click on there. So let's see if we can see some changes here. So you see whenever we click inside, there is this border that shows, this black border that shows. That's basically the highlight thickness that we just added, which is the 2. So we've added the highlight thickness. Now we want to change the color of the highlight thickness. So whenever we click, we want to change the highlight thickness to the color that was there. So first let's come here and say guess entry dot config. So inside our config, let's define a highlight color. So highlight color. So once again, you don't separate this. You type your highlight and color, color, then you combine them, no space between them. So highlight color. So I want to give a highlight color of, so let's say 785 A6. So we launch it again. So you see that whenever we click, now the highlight color change. I think the color is similar as the one in the background. So that's basically what the highlight color do. So the highlight thickness gives you this. So let's say we can change the thickness of this to like 3. So you see the thickness become bigger. So the number of size or the amount of size you give will determine how thick your highlight will be. So we want it to be 2. Then the highlight color basically gives you the color. So you can say this is yellow. So let's say this is yellow. Then we launch it. It's going to give us color yellow of our highlight thickness. So that is basically what that does. So another thing is you want some relief flat. So relief flat. So what that flat is, does it makes our, just as the name suggested, flat. It makes the entry flat. So at launch you can see this is flat. You can see. So if I remove it, I think you should look at it carefully. You get what I mean. You can see the difference if you look at this, and if I add a highlight relief flat, you can see the difference. This becomes flat you don't see the other border, you don't see the default border around it, so it makes it very neat and clean. So once I want to increase the size of the text inside the box, so we'll come to the down here. So let's give it a font. So okay, let's copy this font here to save time. So let's copy this because we are basically going to use the same font. So let's come here, paste it. So okay, let's bring some comma here and put some. So we change the font size to be 60 because basically we want the text to be very big inside the entry. We want it to be big, so we are changing to 60. So let's just launch it now. So you can see the text become much bigger now, which is what you wanted. So now we have our entry now all set. So let's change our highlight background as well. So right here we say highlight background. So let's give it let's give it a color code of, so let's say 6B. Okay, 6B, 6B, 6A. Alright, so you can see our highlight bar. Initially it was white. Okay, I forgot to demonstrate it so that I get it clearly. So let's say I clean this. Let's say I clean the highlight background and I launch it. You can see you don't get to see the thickness of this until you click inside before you get to see the thickness that comes out. So what the basically highlight background does is that, so highlight background, highlight and background, you combine them one word. So what is that is that you can see this light black border around it. So that's basically what the highlight background does. And when you click inside, that color changes to the color for the highlight color. So now the next we want to do is we want to create this guess button here. So let's come down nicely here. So let's define our guess button. So guess button. So we'll assign it to button. So I come to my next line. So I want to put it on my app frame as well. So we'll give the button a text. So let me give the button a text of guess. Okay, so normally when you want to add text, we use something like maybe double quote, but on this triple quote is just to make the text center. So realize I add triple quote at both sides, 3 quote starting, 3 quote ending. So this is just to put the guess in the center of the button. So I hope you don't get confused. You can use the single quote and you can use the 3 quote as well. It all works the same, but one is that it will put the 3 quote centers the text exactly in the center of your button. So that's what the 3 quote does. So let's copy this font because we want to use the same font as well. So here, let's paste this tab to move it here. So I think we need some comma here. So we'll change this to 18. basically to 18. So let's place it. Okay, well, let's give it a relief flat. I hope I explained the relief flat here. You know what it does. So we'll paste it here. So tab key. Then one more thing, we'll give it a background color. So we'll give it a background color of, okay, I think let's copy this. We need the same, I go to the same color. So let's paste it here. Then we'll assign it to wherever I want to assign it. So let's assign it and place it in the center. So guest button dot place. So we want to give it an x coordinate of 230 and a y coordinate of, let's say, 240, and some height as well. So that gives some height of 44, then some width of, let's say, 160 as well. So the next thing we want to do is we want to come back here. Okay, I think there is something. Okay, it's supposed to be 2s. Okay, I think we misspell our guess here. Okay, now we are good to go. Guess button. So guess button dot config. Then we'll add active background. So just as, okay, I have not explained active background yet, so let me not rush. Let's just launch it, then I'll show you what the active background does. So let's launch and see our button. So we see our button nicely placed here. So once again, as I explained the relief flat, what the relief flat does, let's say I remove this and I launch it. You can see how bonyo my button looks. So that's the difference. So that's what the relief flat does. It makes it flat, that just as the name suggests. So you can see the difference with the relief flat now. So like I said, the active background. First, let's give it okay, let's click on it before you can see the active. So you see that if you click on the button, the background changes to white. That is the active. So that is the background. That so when you click on the button, it means it becomes active. And when it becomes active, the background that shows is called the active background. So we want to change the active white background to blend with the normal background. We don't want the white thing to show whenever we hover or click on the button. So that's basically what the active background does. So let's come back here. As I said, so guest button dot config. So active background. So active, the word active, then the background, you combine them, no space. So that's what is it. So we want to give it the same color. So let's copy the color code here and paste it here. So when we launch it, now when we click on our button, you don't see that white. You see that it's the same color, the same active background. You don't see that white thing there. So now let's come back and give it a foreground. The foreground is the color of the text. So we want to give the foreground of white. So foreground is FG, short form of foreground, FG. Okay, let's add some comma here. So foreground color of white. So I just want to type F6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Lowercase f 6 times a color code supposed to be 6 characters, so that's what it means. So you can see now our guess changes to white in color. Now one more thing, we want to change the cursor. See, whenever we put the cursor, we want this arrow to change like a hand, like we want to click something. Yes, we want to show that. So let's come here, we type a comma, come to the down. So let's go with cursor, let's bring a quote, so hand 2, just type hand and 2, no space between them, and click on it. So you guys have immediately remove the cursor onto the button, it changes to this hand. When it takes away, it goes away, changes to this arrow. When it comes on top, it changes to this hand. So that's the hand to basically what it means. So one more thing, want to give it BD. So that is border width. That's the short form of border width, BD of 1. So okay, let's bring some comma in front of the cursor here. Want to reduce the border, so whenever we click on it, we just don't want the border width to be that much big there. So now I think we are okay with the button now. So okay, we have our background, we have our foreground, we have our cursor. So now we can move to, so okay, let's look at our app, our original app. Oh, I think I just close it. Okay, so you want to type, you want to see that whenever you click on this button, there is this text added down that shows added down there. So first, before we do that, we need to create our function and a whole lot. So let's give a comment of guess function. So from here going, our focus is just going to be on the guess function, the function that will make the app work, as I call it, the back end. So our back end is going to start from here. So okay, we can just say back end, and just say back end here. Now, so first, our little text, remember I talk about this text that appears added down here that says you have 10 chances to get the secret number, good luck. So let's say when you type 8, that text changes, it says oops, wrong number, guess higher. So that's the text we are going to focus on now. So we want to assign it to text. So test.set, sorry, test.set. I think there should be no space here. So test.set, so open our parentheses. So inside here, let's give a quote. So first we need to assign our test to a string value. So let's say test string value. So you have 10 chances to guess the secret number. Okay, to get the secret number, good luck. Then we bring our double quote. Okay, we bring some exclamation mark, 2 exclamation mark. Okay, let's look at it and see. Okay, I think that's it. So you have 10 chances to get the lucky number. Good luck. So this is not going to appear here yet until we configure it. So remember I said this is the back end. So from now onwards, this is just the front end, what comes with the app. So everything you are going to do here is going to be coming from the back end. So as a result of what happens is what you get. So that's basically why I'm saying the back end starts from here now. So let's just close this here. So at the down here, we can say our secret number. So another thing is we can also do is, okay, let's go with the count. I'm trying to make it very simpler for you so that it won't get confused. So just want to take it a step at a time. So let's assign our count. So I'm going to explain what this count does anyway, so don't worry about it. So don't worry about it if you don't understand. I will explain it and then as we keep going. So assign our count is equal to 11. So one more thing, let's say our secret number. Once again, if you don't understand anything here, you don't have to worry. I'm going to explain everything. So after we start getting the result, it will start making sense for you. But for now, it will be like magic. So round int. So 150. So this is what is just going to be giving us the random number. So this is what gets the random number for us. So this is the secret number. So like I said, if you don't understand, I will explain it in a minute. So don't worry about it. So now let's come down and define our guess function. So def guess function. So click enter. So we want to give a global of count, which is that will be determining the count for us. So don't worry, I will explain all this like I said. So if you don't understand anything here, just keep heart, we'll get to it. So we have our global text. Global text. So count. So now we have our count. Minus 1 equivalent to 1. It should be minus rather. Alright, so we have our guess as well. We define our guess. So our guess is going to be int. So we have our guess entry dot get. So then we'll create our if function now. So if secret number is equivalent to guess, then we'll say test dot set. So it means if our secret number is equivalent to the what the user guess, then to show this test. So let's come down. So let's create another if function. So if count is equivalent to 0, okay, if count is equivalent to 0. Okay, that's it. Yeah, sorry, I think we missed this thing here. Is equivalent to 0. Then we'll say test dot set, then to show another test here as well. So you can see that initially we have our test set to this, so it means this test will be changing as time goes on. So we'll have our else if as well, which is the else if. So else if secret number greater than guess, then we'll also show another test. So test dot set, then we'll come back to the another else if finally. So else if our secret number is less than our guess, then we'll come back to test then set. Okay, so we'll come and deal with these tests later. Yeah, so remember we define our test here, so we just have to place all these tests that will be showing. We need to place them basically on the screen so that they'll be showing. So let's just come here and say, oh sorry, so let's just say guess count, guess count. So that's equivalent, let's give a space. So guess count, so we're assigning to a label. So we are putting it on an app frame as well. So then we have our test variable. So our test variable is the test, because that's what we define the test. Then we'll give it a font. So let's come here, let's copy this. So let's come back to the down, paste it nicely. So let's press tab key to indent it inside. So you want to change the font size of this to 13. Then we'll give it a background, background of, let's say we are using color code as well, so 63A. Yeah, I think this is 63. Okay, E6. Okay, I think that's what I forgot. There's 6. Okay, so let's just quickly place it. And now here, so we say guess count dot place. So we are using the x coordinate of 70, then y coordinate of 310. So let's see if we get some result, something, at least some small result. Okay, we've even gotten more than enough. So you can see we've placed, since we've assigned you have 10 chances. So if we come back here, realize that we created a test and we set it here that you have 10 chances to guess the secret number. Good luck. So that's the test here. If you click on this test, you realize that it shows, it marked this one. So it means we've assigned this test and we've put it on the window So that's basically what it's showing. So which means anytime you guessed, so that what means anytime you guessed here, so here say if secret number is equal to or is equivalent to guess, then show this test. Then it means this test right here will change to whatever you are going to put inside here. So that's what basically this whole lot of things I'm doing here means. So now let's come back here, and what you are going to do is, I think this is going to be a little bit okay. This is going to be a little bit bigger than you thought. So let's come here and set the text to, so let's say congrats, so that if our secret number is equivalent to guess, then we'll say congrats. So we add the clapping emoji. Once again, if you don't know how to configure them, so 4 of them, you just have to look on your taskbar, you click on the keyboard, touch keyboard, and you select it. If you don't know how to configure it, you don't have it, or you don't know where it is on your Windows, don't worry about it. Just type the text like that and go with it. You don't have to worry yourself about it. So let's bring a quote here. Okay, so let's bring a comma. So congrats with the clapping thing. So you guessed the right number. So we'll bring the 3. So let's close our tag here. So we'll come here again if count is equivalent to 0. So once again, I will explain all this later. So once again, we'll say test. So we'll set this to, so we say game over. That is if you exhaust your chances. So we have, okay, 3. So you are out of attempts. All right, I think we are getting somewhere. So once again, let's come here. So let's say if our secret number, or what we are guessing, is higher than the secret number we are giving, that is greater than. So if our secret number is greater than, or let's say what you are guessing is less than, so we'll just say, we'll display this test. So test, set it to, oops, sorry, oops. So we'll bring our quote. So you can just type whatever you want to type. You just want to make it fun, just want to make it look want to look real. So wrong number. Then we'll bring some comma. So we'll say guess higher. Guess higher. So once again, we'll bring another emoji. An emoji of somebody thinking. Okay, so 2 of them. I have it here. So guess higher. Then finally we'll come here, open our quote again. So this is if it's less. So we'll say guess lower. So let's just copy this. So let's change this to lower. Okay, so let's launch it and see what we got. So let's say we guess our number. So let's say we guess like 45. It's not working because we've not give the function to the button yet. So what we need to do is, let's go back to our guess button. So inside our guess button, let's add a command. So lambda, so guess function, lambda guess function. Okay, so let's come back. So let's guess. So oops, wrong number, guess lower. So let's say we guess 20. So you say guess higher. So let's say we guess 30. Okay, congrats, you guessed the right number. So we are getting somewhere. I think we are getting somewhere. So you can see how the text is manipulating. So once again, if you look at our main application, realize that it is displaying the attempt and it gives us the score when we guess the right number. So let's say we guess the right number. Let's say, what is the right number? Okay, guess higher. So let's guess something like 10. Guess higher again, 15. So 30, 20, so 18. Okay, so it means the answer is 18. So congrats, you guessed the right number. Then it gives you the score. You scored 40 out of 100. So we are going to be doing all that in a minute. So let's close this. So before that, let me explain. Like I said, so where do we start from? Where okay, we started from, okay. So if you look at the code here clearly, now initially we assign our count to 11. So this is what is going to be determining the attempt. So for here we say count is 11 here, and here we have our count assigned to 1. So it means every time our loop runs, the count will reduce. So it means you are having 11 attempts. So it means when you guess the first number, our first count is 11. So when you guess the first time and it's wrong, this count here says -1. So when the first one is wrong, it will subtract 1. Then you have 10 attempts. When the second is wrong, it will subtract 1 from the 10. So it means this is 11. So now this one will be left with 10. So if you subtract 1 from it, to be left with 9 attempts. So it means now the user will having 9 attempts to guess. So now this count, which is 11, now will change to 9. Then the loop will run again. Then this will count -1 again. It will subtract 1 again. That's when the user guessing is wrong. Then it becomes 8 until it gets to 0. So you realize here that we say if count is equivalent to 0. So it means if the user keep guessing, the user keep guessing the wrong number until this 11 reaches 0, then it means the user should not continue again. Then show this test, game over, you are out of attempt. So the user can continue again. Then if along the way the user didn't get to 0 and the user gets the right number, so that's the secret number. So realize that here we say we assign our secret number here. So here we have our random. At the top you realize that we imported our random here. So what this random does is that instead of us to be dialing the random, it will be guessing the random numbers for us all the time. So the computer will just guess the random number on its own for us to guess. So that's what the random is. So we say secret number. So our secret number is a random number that we don't know. So the random secret number we don't know. So the random dot rand int means integer, because this is all integers. They are all numbers. That's what the int means. So numbers from 1 to 50. So random integers from 1 to 50. That's what this thing you are saying here means. Random numbers from 1 to 50. Choose one random number from 1 to 50 as secret number. So this is this statement, which is secret number. Choose one random number from 1 to 50 as secret number. Then when you choose that number from 1 to 50, if that number is equal to guess, what is our guess? Our guess is the guess entry here. What is our guess entry? Our guess entry is this entry right here. If you look at the code, this is our guess entry. So it means where we are going to be entering the numbers here. So it means this is a guess entry. So if you look at this function here, it says guess. So because it's going to be in integers, we want to accept only integers. So that's why we make this integer here, so that it won't crash our program. So that's what this means, integer, because the person will be, user will be just entering numbers. We want to accept only numbers, not letters. So our guess entry dot get, this get function, what it means is that it returns the value. So you can see it returns the text. So as you can see, it returns text, and because it returns text, this int here will convert the text to numbers, because we want to accept numbers only into our program. So the get is going to get whatever you type inside your entry box. So that is the guess entry. So if I type 1 here, it will take this, okay, 7. If I type this 7 inside the entry, the program will take this 7. It will accept the 7, and when it takes that 7, it will compare the 7 to the random number that the program gets on its own. So if the 7 we type is equivalent or equal to the secret number that the computer choose for us, then you show this test that congrats, guess the right number. And if, let's say, then the secret number, so this is just hint. So whilst we keep guessing, so this is just directing it. So let's say if the 7 that we type, or the secret number we type, the number we type is not equal to the secret number that the computer guessed. So okay, sorry, if it's greater than, so let's say the computer choose a secret number of 4 and we type 7. So 7 is greater than the secret number, which is 4. So all it will just say is that what, wrong number, guess lower, so that I guess lower to get the number, and if it's higher, wrong number, guess higher. So that's what all these are doing. So you can see here, secret number is greater than what you are guessing, then say no, guess higher. So if the secret number is greater than, is less than what you are guessing, they will say guess lower. So that's all this about. So this global count here, as I said, so you realize that when you are entering functions, sometimes calling assigned values outside a function is impossible. You have assigned a count here to 11. Somebody will say, okay, you've assigned a count here to 11, right? Why do you have to call global count here? Let's remove this count. Even though I've assigned count here, the function doesn't recognize any count anywhere. The function doesn't know that I've assigned a count anywhere. So the global means that identify any assign outside the function. So that's what the global is doing here. So I hope you don't get confused. So now, okay, now, like as I said, the count, as it keep reducing, it keeps giving us the attempt. till it gets to 0. So if you are guessing and you reach 0 and you couldn't get the right guess, so it pops up game over, you're out of attempt. So we need to show that attempt as well. So how do you do that? So okay, let's come here. So okay, congrats, you guessed the right number. So here, okay, let's use the score. So I want to create a score here. So let's come here and create a plus. So plus, we say you scored So this is what will be showing the scores for us. You scored. So let's open another parenthesis here. So bring our plus sign. So strange. Then we'll call our account. So once again, I will explain this here if you don't understand it. So count. So we'll call our account. Then we'll bring another plus sign. So plus, so behind here, let's say 0. Let's say out of 100. Sorry, 100. So let's add some emojis as well. What emoji? Okay, I need where are you? Okay, let's just add some random emojis. Doesn't matter anyway. You scored blah 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 out of this. So let's come to the game over. Okay, at the game over, you don't need to show anything. So okay. So let's come to the guess. So inside our guess, so let's bring our plus sign. So let's bring our quote again. So we say you have plus, so let's cross it. You have plus, so let's copy this. You have so plus attempt remain to do with double T. Sorry, attempt remaining. This here should be N also. All right. Then finally, let's copy the same thing here. Copy the same thing here. So just as I said, I will explain this. So as I said, you realize that our count here is 10. So it means when the user guesses the first and is wrong, then the count will reduce, then to be left with 10. When the user guesses again and is wrong, it will be reducing until it gets to 0. So what you are doing here is that you are saying while the loop is running, let's be showing the count here. So let's say when the loop runs for the first time and the user got it wrong, so this count here says -1. So if you subtract the 1, it's left with 10. Then here it says that what, oops, wrong number, guess higher, you have, then the count that is left. So if it's 10, you have 10 attempts remaining. So the string is basically because whatever we are going to be, if you realize this is string, all this inside there is string. So to combine string and int here, we need to convert because the count is int, so we are just converting the int to string. So this is string. So that's basically what this str means. It means string. String means like test. So we want to convert the number to test, or else we get error because this is test here. So just as I said, if you look at here too, congrats, you guessed the right number. You scored that string out of 100. So it means whatever is to be left here, we'll add 0 to it. So you see, we brought count here, then we say 0 out of 100. So it means if it's left with 1, it will print the 1, and this 0 will add to the 1, then it will be 10 out of 100. So that's basically the idea. So if we launch this, so let's guess our first number. So let's say 5, 6, let's say 50, supposed not to be over 50. They say, oops, wrong number, guess lower, you have 10 attempts remaining. So realize that this attempt shift inside a little bit. So let's solve it. So as it, you have 10 attempts remaining. So inside here, okay, just right in front of this, let's give it a break, like it will break this to the next line. So you want the whole of you have the number of attempts remaining come to the next line. So that is the slash n. So it means everything in front of the slash n will come to the next line. That's what it means. So right in front of this, let's bring slash t, which is space. Slash t will bring space in front of this. So that's all that means. And in front of this too, let's add like slash t. So slash t was, it's just slash t space and slash n is next line. So the oops, I think it's only 2 O. So let's do the same thing here. So the same thing here, space, then slash n, then the same thing here, slash t. Okay, so let's come back to this place as well. We also want this to come to the next line. So right, okay, let's launch it and see how it goes. So let's see if I guess something like 34. Okay, you see that initially there you have 10 attempts remaining, followed this line. So the slash n brought it to the next line. And in the slash t, realize that we place slash t. Okay, let me see if I can get the code. Okay, you can see we place the slash t in front of the you have. So that's what brought the space. So let's say I clean it. The slash t. Let me clean it both here. And I launch it. So let's guess like 7. So you see that this shifted here, so we want this to shift to the middle. So that's why we brought the slash t here. So it will bring space in front of the you have. So let's say we have 7. So you can see this move to a middle a little bit. You have 10 attempts remaining. So you see that when we initially our guess was 11. So we guessed the 7 and it was wrong. The count subtracted -1 and it's left with 10 attempts. So it printed the 10 attempts remaining. So you realize that here we say you have string count remaining. So the string count is the 10 that is pretty in the middle. So instead of the string count, it's replaced by the 10 attempts remaining, because the count is what is remaining there. So you have 10 remaining. So if we go 9 again and it's wrong, you see it will subtract from the 10. Initially it was 11, it subtracted from the 11 and it was 9, it was 10. Now the 10 is subtracted from it because you got it wrong, it was 9. Let's say we guess 6 again, it will subtract until it gets to 0. So let's be guessing to 0. So it will be saying until we get to 0. Then it says game over, you are out of attempt. So I hope like you are getting what I mean now. So let's push this to the front a little bit as well, the game over text. So right in front of this will be the /t. So the /t will push this to the front a little bit. I think we are left with this, so let's also do this and see. So let's try and guess right and see what we see. See how the test looks. Okay, congrats, you guessed right, you scored 100 out of 100. See, because I scored on the first, it says 100, so we have to put this the next line. So we'll do this later, but let me explain this. So the 100 means that, just as I said, initially our test was 11. So when we guessed the first one, it subtracted 1 from the 11, it was left with 10. So on the 10 guess, we had it right. So it's added the 0. So we said you scored, so it was left with 10. So the 10 will print here. Then we added 0 here. So the 0 added to the 10. So that is what we say 100 out of 100. If it's left with 9, then 0 add to the 9. So it will be 90 out of 100. So I hope you get the trick. So now let's try and bring this. So here in front of this, let's break here so that this will go to the next line. Okay, so let me click enter. I don't want the line to be too long. Anyway, so right in front of this, let's say we bring space like 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say we bring like 4 spaces. Let's say we bring 4 spaces here. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use the /t to put space here, but it will be too big. So that's why I'm using this. Yeah. So let's see the test. So let's try and guess something. Let's try and get the right number as well. Okay, you have 10 attempts remaining. So okay, guess higher. So let's say 40. Okay, guess lower. So let's say 35. Okay, guess higher. So let's say 38, 37. Okay, so you can see, congrats, you guessed the right number. So initially this followed, so now we break it, so we brought some space in front of it. So that's what is giving you all this here. So 60 out of 100, it means we were left with 6 attempts. So that's what give it the score, 60 out of 100. So that's what it basically means. So finally, if we look at app, realize that whenever we guessed, we want the button to change so that the user can be able to exit or something. So it's just simple. So let's just come here. So let's just create an exit function. So let's say def, or we define exit. So say guess button, then we'll assign it to button. So we'll open up parentheses, so test. So let's just copy. So let's just come here. So our guess button here. So let's just copy the whole of this. because it's going to be the same button we are just going to create. Let's don't just waste time. So let's just clear all of this. Oh, sorry. We are clearing the whole thing. It's supposed to be the exit. Let's put some space so that won't convince us. So enter to paste it here. So let's change this to OK. So OK. Yeah. So basically the same thing. So here all we have to just do is just say root.destroy. Root, which is our window, so it means it will destroy our window. Sorry, I don't know why. Okay, root.destroy. Let's make sure everything is right. Right on order. Okay, so let's come here. Let's come here, call our exit here. So when we get the number right, we want our exit to show, which is the OK. It will show, the button will change from guess to OK. So the same thing here. I think it should be at when we run out of attempt. Exit function, so we call it both here. Then finally, one thing is root.resizable. We don't want our app to be resizable, so root.resizable. I will explain what the resizable does in a minute. So let's say false. So when I launch my application here, you can see the maximum button was turned off, so it means the user cannot maximize. So this means this is the default window here. So it means you can only minimize you cannot make this full screen. So let's say, let's say we guess 40. Okay, guess lower. Okay, lower. Okay, 15. Okay, so you can see as soon as you guess the right number, the button now changes from guess to OK. Initially, the button here is guess, so now it changes to OK, and the moment you click on OK, it exits the page. Run it same way as, let's say we run out of guess. So let's say we guess. So when we run out of guess too, you can see it changes from guess to OK. So that was basically all what we are doing here. Yeah, you remember we call the exit function here. So whenever we are out of attempt, it shows game over, you're out of attempt, then it shows the exit. Same way here, whenever you got it right, it shows exit, and the exit is what we have here. You can see here we have the text, which is the OK. So that's what it is. So this is basically the format in creating application. If you want to create Tkinter application, you import your Tkinter, whatever you need. So this is just the format you just follow depending on what app you want to create and what you go about. I have some applications as well I've created. You can also check the videos out, like coffee management system, maybe login and signups, a whole lot. My channel, you can just check them out as well and improve on your skills on how to develop applications using Python Tkinter. So if you like this video, kindly don't forget to subscribe and like, so that will motivate me to make more videos of this nature. So once again, thank you for watching this video. See you in the next tutorial video.